I'd say Blue Cow has found a way to kind of carve out a niche for itself as an independent theatre company that offers a consistently high standard of work. Consistently, that's exceedingly hard to do.
Although the stories are universal, the way that they are told is completely unique, and being part of that process is really exciting.
We need to be able to create work and give people an avenue to get some great professional development to tell these amazing stories which are vitally important to the state and keep those people here.
To work professionally in theatre in this state, it's pretty impoverished.
Robert and Jeff and a guy called Nick Falk invited me to come and meet them to talk about this play called Art by Yasmina Reza. And then we basically decided, yep, we'd love to do it. The question came up of what company, amateur company or whatever locally, Old Nick, Hobart Rep, whoever, should we approach to pitch it and see if they'll produce it. I sort of said, why don't we just produce it ourselves? And then Nick Falk had this name. He said, I've always wanted to have a theatre company and I've always wanted to call it Blue Cow. And then Blue Cow happened and we started doing shows, reading lots of plays, choosing shows we wanted to do, and putting them on, and it was a resounding success. Art went on to tour.
People really showed up. It's a great show. It's got its own recognition, but then I think the three of us had never been in a show together before, and so people came to that, and it was a rollicking comedy, and we thought, oh, that did okay.
So there was this gap of just even contemporary plays, like even Train Spotting or Black Rock, all these contemporary Australian works that no one was doing. So it was just us, and that's how it happened.
There's a similar sized theatre company in Cairns called Jute. They have done a lot of playwriting development programs over the years and really developed a sort of cohort of local playwrights in producing their shows. Robert thought this could be a great sort of program. So mine was the first one, Pedaling Back, and then another one of our playwrights, Alison Mann, her play, The Surgeon's Hands.
That was my first full-length work that was professionally produced. Yeah, so that amazing experience to work with a company from the very sort of embryo of a project right through to seeing the casting of the piece and going into a full production. It was a fabulous experience and I learnt a lot through the process.
The State of the Tasmanian Economy, which is the short title, of course, was an idea that Robert had for commissioning someone like Jonathan Biggin.
The idea was that two public servants that were being shut into a room out of the airport to come up with a blue plan to revive the Tasmanian economy. And they went through all the sort of various schemes that have been tried in the past and then other ones that they came up with, and it seemed to strike a chord. Look, I think it's very important for people to write their own stories, but I think it's also important to write the stories of the audience.
Paddock to Plate is, developing the play through the cowshed, and the plate is getting it on the stage. Very clever. I don't know if Lucinda knew exactly how clever she was being when she said Paddock to Plate.
And give up my spot!
Oh look, plenty more spots. Take your pick.
The process that Blue Cow offers is multifaceted and very important, and nobody else is doing it in Tasmania.
I just get excited for the writers. I get excited for the performers.
I'm coming back this year because last year was so amazing, and the reason why I did it last year was the opportunity, one, to work with a dramaturg, and don't tell Peter I said this, but one so good as Peter is just phenomenal because there's all of this knowledge that you need to gain.
Playing with the writers is part of my joy. I mean, I'm basically the first audience they get, and I'm an evil one because my aim is to make sure that they tell the story that they want to tell as well as they can.
With Peter Matheson as a dramaturg, I mean, it's such a valuable asset to have him on board, as Australia's leading dramaturg.
Everyone's so invested at Blue Cow in finding good work and encouraging good work from people that's going to get up there on stage.
Tassie often gets overshadowed by a lot of the Melbourne companies and a lot of the Sydney companies as well. So it's really important that we have someone here who's committed to these, to Tasmanian voices and getting our stories across.
The scope of the cowshed has been quite wide. It's been looking at developing different levels of playwriting. I think there's been 75 playwrights all up that we've dealt with individually. Some lasting quite a long time, some only a year.
To be able to nurture playwriting and nurture these people who have these ideas, who have the ability to write, and get them with someone like Peter Matheson, dramaturg, to help them learn how to create stories and tell stories on paper through actors and acting is just such a great thing, and that's probably the proudest thing out of the whole thing. 10 or so years down the track.
We pivoted very, very quickly from being able to do shows on stage to doing creative developments online. We boosted our Cowshed program to incorporate lots more time for the playwrights to have with dramaturg, doing online readings, online creative developments.
Well, look, I have to say, I think Blue Cow were incredibly active during the time of the pandemic and COVID. Lucinda went out of her way in Blue Cow to how can we still keep animating this space, paying actors, keeping the theatre conversation alive.
So we were able to deliver right through COVID.
I think that's the beauty about Blue Cow. It is really grassroots, but it's it wants to push boundaries, it wants to reach out and really diversify, and it will embrace whatever opportunities are out there.
As an Indigenous artist, I felt incredibly culturally safe with you guys. And I believe that's really important. I think this conversation of cultural safety has never really been at the forefront until quite recently.
I think Blue Cow is such a valuable voice for performers in Tasmania.
If you think back at the 10 years of Blue Cow and the amount of shows that we've put on, the people that we've paid professionally, the new Tasmanian works, the amount of writers that we've had go through the Cowshed, I'm so confident about the future of the company based on what we've done already.
It's community. That's what theatre offers people, that communal experience. Theatre is the great place for being able to say, there but for the grace of God go I. It could have been me, and that's the experience that theatre also offers, that place where you can exercise your empathy muscles. More important, I think, though, is that thing of seeing local actors and of local actors being able to engage with their community and vice versa. I think that's absolutely crucial for a healthy cultural sector and a healthy community, really.
All different parts of the world need to know about all different parts of the world. And just because, we are considered a regional place and a small island, it doesn't mean that, the stories aren't big and rich and really important.
I think for Blue Cow, I think the Cowshed is a vital part of not only Blue Cow's future, but I think the industry's future in regards to telling our stories, in regards to creating fresh, innovative, new work for practitioners to get involved with, and then after that, taking our stories to the rest of the country, if not the rest of the world.